Hey everybody, Denise here from Denzi's Orchids, and just going to show you my gastrochilus japonicus. But I want to talk about wet, dry watering cycles. Like if they get wet, they need to dry out by the end of the day. Well, I have a little bit different feeling about doing that with everything. Mainly because of this guy here and a few others I've had. I think it all depends. I'm going to pause this for a second and walk over to a few other things. Yeah, the time of day probably isn't the best to do this. This is my Hawaria Lava Burst Pacific Sunrise. He's on a mount. They don't like their roots to be wet, but I was misting him and or watering him depending on the time of year. It's his growth season, so I water it more instead of just mist. It doesn't like to be damp for very long. What is long? Well, as I said, I've been doing this now at this time of year. It's really hot here in Florida. I've been doing this one probably every other day, and every third day, I'm sorry. And I probably need to do it every other day. This, on the other hand, my Hawaria Lava Burst Punani. He's been growing on this mount for years and years and years. He can tolerate going a few days before I have to mist him again. You see, that's the key. How well they're doing in addition to what they're mounted on. And what's the age of the plant? If you've got a younger plant, like this lava burst, you're going to want to do it more often. What's right for you? Unfortunately, I'm going to have to say you're just going to have to keep an eye on it and go from there. I'm going to pause and go back to my gastrochilus japonicus. Sorry, I usually do a little bit set up. I usually set up a little bit better. Happy Mother's Day to all of you who have children, are pregnant with children, have raised children, have nurtured children. Doesn't matter if you're male or female. But anyway, my gastrochilus japonicus, it says they like a quick, wet, dry cycle. Well, here's the results of doing that with a very young plant. So, I did that. I had it on cork. We go yada, 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 whatever. And he was declining. Now it's actually looking better after a day or two of totally hydrating and letting the roots stay green. But that's a small plant. So, babies, yes. Give them more moisture, please. He is in an airier pot. He was on a cork mount with coconut fiber on top. It wasn't enough moisture. So, and as I spill stuff out, and I'll throw it back in. So, keep an eye on your orchids. Wet-dry cycle doesn't necessarily mean wet it down and it'll let it dry quickly. What is quickly? Well, it depends on the size of the orchid. So, watch your orchids. If they're babies, keep them damper. Not wet, but damper. If they're older, you can get away with every few days. Thanks for watching and happy Mother's Day. Bye.